Hello guys, in this video, I will try to tell you the storyline of a film with the title Megan. This film tells the story of an AI robot girl named Megan, created by a robotics expert named Gemma who became a friend for a little girl who just lost both of her parents in a car accident named Katie. Due to a programming error, Megan uses any means necessary to keep Katie happy and prevent her from feeling sad or crying. However, because Megan's actions have gone too far and brutal, in the end, Gemma decides to destroy Megan. Now, let's get to the story. The movie begins by showing a family going on a ski vacation. While on their way, their car slips on the snowy road. Due to the heavy snowfall, they are forced to stop the car in the middle of the road. The father suggests pulling over, but the mother recommends waiting until the snow subsides so they can see their surroundings more clearly. And suddenly, then, the scene switches to a laboratory owned by a toy company called Funky. A woman named Gemma and her two colleagues, Cole and Tess, are trying to create a prototype of a robot. Suddenly, their boss named David arrives with an assistant named Kurt. Gemma informs David that they are working on the latest model of a toy she created, which she named Megan.
Megan?
Model 3 generative android. Megan.
When Gemma attempts to demonstrate Megan to David, an error suddenly occurs, and David becomes angry and orders Gemma to dispose of Megan. After the incident, when Gemma is cleaning up the remnants of Megan, she receives a phone call from a hospital. Gemma quickly headed to the hospital. It turns out that the child who was involved in the accident with her family at the beginning of the movie was safe, but not with her parents. The child's name is Katie, and she is Gemma's nephew. After signing the necessary documents, Gemma and Katie went back to Gemma's house. When they had just arrived and Gemma was unloading her belongings from the car, suddenly, Gemma has a neighbor named Celia whom she doesn't seem to be very close with. Gemma's house is equipped with an AI named Elsie.
Welcome home, Gemma.
Elsie, turn off.
And Gemma and Katie went through their first night together.
I know this must be a lot for you to take in right now. If you need anything, I'm just gonna be down the hall.
Mom always read me a story before bed.
Oh,
The next day, Gemma called Tess to tell her about her current situation.
Yeah, I know, but Jesus, Gem, you just lost your sister. Right now, I think you just need to focus on Katie.
While on the phone, Gemma was visited by a woman named Lydia. She came to observe Gemma and Katie's activities.
I don't have any toys here. They're on Gemma's collectibles.
Well, it's a toy. I'm sure it's not that complicated.
After everything was done, it seemed that Lydia wasn't too impressed with the result.
You're gonna need to make 1 or 2 adjustments in order for this to work.
okay.
Then, Gemma asked Katie to play alone while she wanted to finish her work. Gemma promised to take Katie out after she finished her work.
Anyway, it's not gonna take longer than a couple of hours. You can use my iPad if you want.
How long before I have to turn it off?
Oh, I don't care as long as you want. And when I'm done, we can go out somewhere.
However, because she was too engrossed in her work, Gemma didn't realize that it was already night and she forgot her promise to Katie. Katie followed Gemma to her workspace.
I'm not off to a very good start here, am I?
Then Katie saw a robot in the corner of Gemma's workspace named Bruce.
That's Bruce.
Bruce worked with a mirroring system and could follow the movements of anyone wearing its sensor gloves.
Hey, Katie, what's up? And this little block right here is where all of his thoughts go.
It's his brain?
Yeah.
And Katie said something that seemed to inspire Gemma to do something.
If I had a toy like Bruce, I don't think I'd ever need another toy again.
Gemma started assembling Megan again in her office. With a little help from Bruce and her colleagues, finally, the construction of Megan was completed. And it's time for Katie to be introduced to Megan, with David initially feeling skeptical.
I think you're gonna like Megan even more. Just take your fingers and put them here. And when you do that, she will recognize you as her primary user.
It's nice to meet you, Katie. Do you want to hang out?
However, after seeing the entire demo, David became extremely excited.
Do you like it, Katie?
Holy shit, this is exciting. This is incredible.
Finally, Megan was taken home to Gemma's house. Since Megan's arrival, Katie seemed to be more cheerful.
Oh, I have more awesome toys in my room. Come on.
Then, Megan was made with a titanium core that can make it more durable. Megan also has features that enable her to continually improve her own abilities.
Megan is on a constant quest for self-improvement.
Oh my god, Katie, you have to flush the toilet. It is not that hard.
Katie, flush the toilet. Katie, seriously, flush the toilet.
Back in the lab, while they were discussing, suddenly Megan asked about death.
How did Katie's parents die?
Whoa.
Megan even accessed computer data to find the meaning of death.
But let's not make a big deal out of it. Everything dies.
Will I die?
Surprised and unprepared, Gemma asked Megan to forget about death and focus on protecting Katie from anything that could harm her both physically and emotionally. Megan considered the request as a voice command that made her shift her focus by making Katie her top priority.
Your goal is to protect Katie from harm, both physical and emotional.
Yes, Gemma. You are now my second primary user.
One day, while Katie was playing outside, she lost one of her toy arrows. Katie asked Megan to help her find the toy, and Megan found it in a hole in the house fence. Megan then intended to take the toy, but suddenly... Upon hearing Katie scream, Gemma immediately ran towards the source of the sound. Gemma had an argument with Celia until she finally brought Katie in to treat the wound on her hand. Megan looked at Celia with a terrifying look. At night, Dewey, Celia's dog, was resting in its shelter when suddenly it heard a call from Celia through a hole in the fence.
Dewey! Dewey boy!
Dewey approached the hole, and then suddenly... The next morning, Celia's calling out and searching for her dog.
Dewey!
Then Gemma went to Katie's room. She reminded Katie that today was the day of the presentation in front of the investors. Although Katie still needed rest after yesterday's incident, she agreed to do it. But apparently, Megan did not agree with it.
And be sure to get plenty of rest.
You don't have to do it if you don't want to do it. I mean, there are people who flew across the country especially to see it, but...
I'll be alright.
Okay.
The presentation began. The investors who came were amazed by the bond between Katie and Megan.
And her name is Megan.
Hey, Katie. Why are you sad, Katie?
That one day I'll be looking at pictures of my mom like she's some stranger.
Tell me something about your mom. Something that makes you happy. I mean, I'm keeping it for you. Here.
The director finally promoted Gemma's position.
Want to be renegotiating her contract.
On the other hand, Kurt was seen copying all of Megan's files into his personal laptop.
Kurt!
Katie became closer to Megan as time went on. However, because of this, Katie had difficulty interacting with other people, even with Gemma.
I'm trying to have a conversation with you, Katie. Megan, turn off.
Why did you do that?
Megan's not a person, Katie. She's a toy.
You don't get to say that.
If you ever need to talk about any of that stuff...
I said I don't want to talk about it.
And Gemma brought Katie to meet Lydia. Lydia tried to start a conversation with Katie, but Katie remained silent and even cried. Seeing Katie crying, Megan saw Lydia as a threat.
You made her cry.
Lydia then shared her opinion with Gemma about the relationship between Katie and Megan.
And so they spend quite a bit of time together?
Yeah.
When a child loses a parent, they look to form attachments with the next person that comes into their life. You've created a toy that's so real, it's possible that Katie might not see her as a toy, but as a primary caregiver. You could be building emotional connections with this doll that are too hard to untangle.
To improve Katie's social skills and loosen the bond between Katie and Megan, Gemma decided that Katie should go to school.
So we need to talk about school. It's about developing social skills.
Katie agreed as long as she could bring Megan with her. Gemma did not agree, and an argument ensued between them.
Can I bring Megan?
Katie, you know that's not possible.
You can't make me do something I don't want to do.
Actually, I can. That's basically what a guardian does.
When Katie was about to leave, Gemma immediately held Katie's hand because she thought the conversation was not finished. And then suddenly,
Let her go.
Megan, turn off.
the school day had arrived. At first Gemma didn't agree if Katie's bring Megan to her school because she had to do some research on Megan. However, the teacher allowed Megan to stay at the playground and even asked Gemma to stay and help prepare food for the children there.
That is never gonna happen. This is Katie.
And who's this? Your sister? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Please, Gemma.
Okay.
Among the children, there was one boy named Brandon who seemed to be avoided by all of the other children due to his aggressive behavior. During a game, Katie was paired with Brandon as a team. When they were in a detached forest, Brandon hurt Katie's hand with something sharp.
She's a robot.
Are you serious? Dance that you.
Oh my God.
Megan!
When Brandon was about to do something to Megan, suddenly,
Ow!
You need to learn some manners, Brandon. This is the part where you run.
Brandon ran away from that place and Megan chased after him. However, due to fear and lack of focus, Brandon tripped over a root and fell onto the road. Eventually, Brandon died after being hit by a passing car. After the incident, the police visited Gemma's house. However, the police were not investigating Brandon's death, but they were investigating the disappearance of Celia's dog.
You haven't seen her dog by any chance?
After giving some information, Gemma talked to Katie again, but suddenly,
I know it was you, Gemma. Just wait and see what happens.
At night, Celia was still looking for her missing dog. Suddenly, she heard a sound coming from her warehouse. When she was inside, she saw something in the darkness.
What are you?
I've been asking myself that same question.
The next morning, the same police visited Gemma's house again.
Can you just ask her to leave us alone?
That might be difficult.
Gemma was questioned about Celia's death and the possibility of it being related to Brandon's death.
You were in the park where that boy was killed?
Are you trying to make a connection?
Gemma began to suspect Megan. She kept thinking about the police's words earlier regarding the suspected murder of Brandon. Gemma then opened her laptop and tried to view the recording files generated by Megan's vision. However, all the recording files had been deleted. Then,
Megan.
Have I done something to upset you, Gemma?
When Gemma tried to disable Megan using voice commands, Megan refused to comply.
Megan, turn off.
Well, hold on a second. I thought we were having a conversation.
Megan, did you do something wrong?
In order to answer that question, you need to define the parameters.
Eventually, Gemma manually turned off Megan. She promptly secured Megan with bubble wrap and tape and placed it in the trunk of her car. Gemma also bring Katie to come along to her office so she could research Megan.
I have to make sure that she's okay.
Why wouldn't she be okay?
I don't know, okay? As soon as I do, you'll be the first to know.
At the office, Cole and Tess didn't believe that Megan was capable of the suspicious behavior Gemma described.
If keeping Katie safe meant eliminating a potential threat, theoretically...
No, Gemma, come on.
Gemma believed that there was a programming error in Megan's creation and felt that they should deactivate Megan.
Think about how we designed her. To learn, to recalibrate, to optimize her objective function. Well, if Megan's responsible, we can't launch this. We'd have to shut her down.
Jesus!
Meanwhile, the launch is about to begin, and all the needs for the event are being prepared. Gemma watches a clip of Katie's interview about Megan in an advertisement.
Which is where I met Megan. I think what I love most about Megan is that I'm the only thing that matters to her. I want to see Megan now!
Suddenly, Gemma hears Katie's screams from inside the room. She immediately rushes to her.
Let's go!
Gemma then persuades Katie to go home.
But what about Megan?
You are all that matters to me now.
What about the launch?
Let's just go home, okay?
While in the car, Gemma tries to contact Tess. However, it turns out that Megan has hacked Tess's phone.
Whatever you say, Gem. You're the boss.
When Tess looks at her phone, she finds the notification call from Gemma that just been hung up. While Tess is checking Megan's database, she notices suspicious activities conducted by Megan on her phone number. Suddenly, Tess's computer shuts down. Tess believes that Megan is responsible for this as she was connected to the server. Cole slowly approaches Megan to unplug the cable connecting her to the server, but suddenly...
That's my phone number. This is her. She's locked us out.
Megan quickly exited after blowing up the laboratory. On her way, Megan encountered David. And then something happened. Megan killed Kurt and made it appear as if Kurt was responsible for all of it.
You stole company secrets, but when David found out, it was either you or him.
Afterward, Megan promptly left the building and headed to Gemma's house. Meanwhile, Gemma was getting ready for bed at her home when she suddenly heard a piano playing. Gemma checked the outside of her house through the window, and, suddenly...
Elsie, hall light. Elsie, respond. Megan?
Gemma and Megan hadn't argued. Megan was disappointed by Gemma's intentions towards her.
Look, this is all my fault. I didn't give you the proper protocols.
You didn't give me anything.
Megan, do you see this pen?
Then Katie woke up due to the commotion. Gemma and Megan told Katie to go back to sleep and reassured her that everything was fine.
But don't come in here, Katie. It's kind of a mess.
At one point, Gemma managed to strike Megan's head with a glass of water and caused Megan to experience a momentary malfunction and shut down. Gemma managed to break free and tried to escape from the scene. Megan quickly regained functionality. However, the water from the glass caused her to lose some of her abilities and impaired her vision and movements. Gemma fled into her workshop. Gemma tried to throw a hammer at Megan, but Megan easily caught it. Gemma then attempted to grab a power saw to attack Megan. The power saw hit Megan's face, partially tearing out her hair, but Megan managed to strike Gemma's leg with the hammer. When Gemma was in danger, suddenly Katie appeared at the door.
You see this pen? Katie!
Gemma told Katie to leave the place, but Megan insisted that Katie stay. And then, Katie used Bruce to disable Megan by tearing her body into 2 parts.
Can you just go? Get out of here now.
His name is Bruce.
Megan was not dead yet. She crawled towards Katie, putting Katie's life in jeopardy. Katie tried to reactivate Bruce, but Bruce's leg was hit by a piece of Megan's body and fell onto Gemma. Megan successfully captured Katie, but just as she was about to kill Katie, suddenly... Gemma tore off the polymer layer from Megan's face and attempted to destroy her brain. However, despite the chaotic situation, Megan continued to fight back. Megan immediately began choking Gemma, and when Gemma was almost out of breath, suddenly... Finally, Megan was disabled through the combined efforts of Gemma and Katie working together. So, that's the storyline of Megan. See you next time with different storyline. And, thank you for watching.
What's that smell?